What do you wanna do?
There's something that you're gonna bring up
Do
that
you
I
have
was
the
gonna.
recorder?
Yeah, she
Yeah,
has
I
it
do.
right there.
Okay.
I'll wait
Lean,
to see.
lean, deep breath.
Yeah. How did I see?
Okay, at 7:03,
I'm gonna call a meeting, the Dunbarton Board of Selectmen meeting to order for Thursday, May 3rd, 2018. All three selectmen present. Town administrator is present, recording secretary is present. And, recording for the town, recording for the public who's interested. We have Leo Martel doing a video recorder. Bob, he hasn't worded yet, he wanted me to say on that.
Yeah, you kept the town out of it.
Yeah. No, for the record, the video is done by, it's not an official town capacity, it's more of the share this meeting room with the town residents who are unable to attend. It's done by volunteers. I know. But I'm waiting for a motion, gentlemen.
Okay, motion to approve the meeting minutes from April 26, 2018.
the regular meeting, Bob?
As amended, yep,
Regular meeting.
yep, regular meeting as amended.
I'll second Bob's motion.
Any further discussion on those minutes?
Nope.
No.
All in favor?
Aye,
Alright. Again, good minutes. Jennifer, sign and pass them on. Okay, we have two other sets of minutes, gentlemen.
I'll make a motion to approve as amended the non-public meeting minutes from April 26, 2018. At the 6:45 non-public.
Okay,
second,
I'm sorry, we passed the pen on it. Oh, no,
And then I cut your.
Bob goes to St. Mary's too, I see.
what, this isn't it?
little discussion on that one. I read those
Did anybody
minutes.
second it?
Bob
I
did.
did.
I read those minutes, I don't think, they don't need to be, made, sealed. Did everyone read that? I didn't think there was anything controversial in there that needs to be sealed. This is on the, Judy, tax collectors and discussion. I know we were talking about that last week, but as the minutes were written, I thought they were pretty, straightforward and nothing,
As long as I don't see any names in here that
Yeah,
didn't
there
name
weren't any.
landowners, I'm okay with that as well.
There weren't any.
okay. And all in favor of approving those minutes?
Aye.
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 And Lean's gonna do these as recurring secretary.
Well, maybe sign that and pass them on.
I'll make a motion to approve the 7:52 non-public meeting minutes as amended.
I'll second it.
Date was April 26, 2018.
Any discussion, these will be sealed, gentlemen, because as per recommendation of the last meeting, and because we were talking about certain people in there, I believe. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I didn't hear Dave go.
I heard, he was good,
What, he's whispering?
he was talking quietly.
That nice Indian quiet tone.
Let's see if I have an envelope here.
Thank you. All right.
Now we'll open up for public comment. Leo, do you have anything
No,
first?
thank you.
Public comment, Lee? Okay, here, I'll bring it back to the board, no public comment
This is
tonight.
the sealed one, right?
First thing on the agenda was, we're gonna have a discussion with the, transfer station supervisor. Due to family emergency, he's not here, he was gonna try to make it, so at this point, we'll defer any discussion referencing the transfer station. So, we're gonna go right on the town business. And the first thing we have, Lean sent out everyone a copy of the welfare job description. And, I provided some input, Bob provided some input, and we can discuss those now. And then we can, the goal of, we made last week was to get it so we can approve it this week and have it sent out. And not sent out, but posted, to post it so we can advertise for the job.
Yeah.
So, I'm gonna go through, Dave, I'll show you some of my recommendations. I think Bob, can I speak for you here?
You, go ahead.
Okay, Bob, wanna take out the word non-union there, at the top, is that correct?
Yeah, the draft is from a
City,
municipality that has collective bargaining agreements, and the only time they refer to non-union is when they're not part of a collective bargaining agreement. And so that's the only reason you don't need non-union. We don't have any collective bargaining agreement covered employees in the town.
Going on the next line, you've got exempt status hourly position. I think it's a quarterly position, isn't it, by how we pay them, or how's that?
you're right.
So we wanna
It
change
is
that. right?
monthly, actually,
Monthly,
monthly, yep.
so monthly,
Exempt status, that kinda goes with what Bob was saying, correct, Bob?
yeah, kind of in the same.
I think we could strike that completely, that whole line, would you agree?
Exempt status,
So it wouldn't be called exempt, it should refer to, payment status maybe?
I think,
Payment status monthly,
Yep,
how's that sound?
monthly, and so they know the amount, I don't know, is the amount is in the body of this anywhere,
you
but
shouldn't, because that gets amended every year,
it gets amended by what, 2% or something, right? But
depending on what we vote, or what the budget is from the board. So we never put a rate of pay in here,
we don't.
no, in any
Okay.
of the job descriptions, so I
And
think payment,
how do they apply and find out when they apply?
they can inquire about it when they ask about
Okay,
it. So it should probably say, rather than exempt, say payment status monthly.
okay.
I'm happy with that,
Okay.
and then, Dave, anything else that you wanna?
I'll just go down through, I just wanna look at either of these, go ahead, Mike, and make your changes while I'm
On
reading.
item 7, on essential
Well,
duties.
can we go to item 5
Item
first?
5,
Because there was a change recommended by myself. Again, this was a template that I was using, and where that municipality had either a position that required hours in the office, this one does not because of the level of activity. So I think just beginning it with retrieves messages, screens, calls, makes referrals, provides information, and schedules appointments is more than adequate.
Is there a, function on our phone service for somebody?
To answer remotely, they can enter into their phone.
No, I didn't mean that, I meant,
Retrieve.
is there like a department for welfare when you call in? There
Yep.
is, okay.
Yeah, it's an extension and,
I never let it get that far, is what I was saying,
Yeah.
so there is one, okay.
yeah, extension 101, yep.
All right,
Okay, then I made recommendations for item 7. It says locates outside resources and agencies provide, I changed the word to food assistance, clothing, and other essentials for families in need.
So strike out.
I struck out baskets, Christmas presents, eyeglasses, and shoes.
yeah. So you put food
Food assistance,
assistance,
clothing, and other essentials for families in need. So I didn't change that last part,
clothing,
comma, and other essentials for families in need.
you struck shoes or you left shoes in?
I took shoes out too, clothing and shoes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Another essential.
Okay,
So the essentials could be, oil, it could be a wood bag.
It could be anything.
Okay.
and then we're on the top of the second page, Lean has another thing, item 9.
Again, we confirmed this with the church, that the pantry will no longer be, stocked at the local level of the Goffstown, which typically served the different towns that were involved with the Salvation Army. So I don't think it should be noted in the job description, because there is no stocking of the food pantry by this welfare position.
How about number 12, is that, Is that for this person as well as? the
That's
Judy?
critical, because any property owner that exceeds a certain dollar amount of assistance through the welfare department,
Mhm.
it's required by law that the town lien the property, and if
If
they're
they
not
own it.
working and informing me of any potential, property owner requiring assistance, they obviously would work with trying to direct them to, food assistance, or the, Salvation Army, or other sources, rather than go through a town expense and which would require a lien.
And Lean, could you share that example of what you uncovered in the filing gap? How you found an older person, an older client who received assistance, and
Yeah.
the property should have been liened.
Correct, and the person's deceased, so, and it's been sold since, but that cabinet's been locked for 3 years, so I'm not even sure if that lien was applied to the property or not, and if the bank even
Knew it.
was, made that aware to the new buyer, so we're out of that, release.
How about under the, education and experience?
Mm-hmm,
When we say associate's degree or equivalent
yeah,
from a 2-year college, some people I think that I know that will apply for this job or try for this job may have that equivalent in field experience, but not so much an associate's degree.
well, I think that's where it gets further on,
Yeah, it does say or,
Equivalent from a 2-year college, it doesn't say.
but if you keep on reading down,
Liberal arts, business administration, or other related field.
keep going.
or any combination of
It says
education.
and 2 years.
Yep. It says involving use of computers or any combination of education, training, experience,
Oh, okay.
which provides knowledge, skills, and ability to
I missed
require
that
for the
last
job.
or, I guess. And I think it's gonna be more likely we pull somebody from that type of a field than.
Mhm, Yep,
Yeah, I agree with you. Okay, and continuing knowledge, skills, and abilities, I took the, knowledge, skills, and abilities, I took the word,
number 2,
number 2, I put the word, it kinda doesn't say anything, so I put the word knowledge of social security, vocational rehabilitation program, et cetera. If you look at number 2, right now it's just a bunch of nouns together, it doesn't say anything.
Right, but it's underneath the knowledge and skills and abilities section.
Right.
So you put it
I-
knowledge in front of it again?
Yeah, I did, because I try to follow the same format as the first one.
Okay,
And number 3, that's more of a skill, and so I asked Lean to move that down to, and put it into the skill section. And,
so we'll number that, number 3, 1 under skill,
right, this will become a new number 1, then 2, 3, and 4. And basically, I took the word modern out, it's just an office methods, procedures, equipment, and business letter writing, and all that kind of stuff in the skill set. That's,
Okay.
and that's, so that was, and then, on the same page, looking at, mental and physical abilities, to exercise, I said to organize, and I took the word, clean out of there,
that's number 2,
number 2. If you look at, it says organize and maintain documents and records so as to be in safe, clean, and readily retrievable, I substituted the word secure. Be safe, secure, and readily available.
secured and readily
Available.
retrievable.
Because if anything, documents like that, you gotta protect the privacy of the individuals. That's where security is more important than spilling a coffee cup on them. And I thought that was, overall, I thought that was, for the record.
nothing on the 3rd page?
No, I didn't have anything.
Well, I didn't make any changes, well, I like to, when we review these job descriptions, I like to have the signatures on there so that the board, at least I'll have one original copy of something that the board approved at a meeting. And then to allow an area for the employee to sign off on as well, because,
So if you make these changes, we'll sign it next week?
Yeah.
But I think we can post it right after you make the changes.
yep, yep.
So we'll post it, say Monday or something?
Or
Yeah.
tomorrow, if we have to, it's just time.
Oh, I'm gonna make the changes if you guys accept these changes, and I will get it up on the website for tomorrow.
Gentlemen, do we have a consensus?
I think it looks good.
I thought Lee did a great job of putting the pieces together from previous, now she didn't reinvent the wheel, but she grabbed pieces from a few places and put together a good document. Kudos, Lee.
did you have anything, Bob? Any
No,
other changes?
no, I just looked at the last page.
I,
You know, here's a question though. Whoever does this job is probably at some point in time gonna work from home or from an office.
Okay,
I actually
So-
think probably 90% of it's gonna be done from home.
Yeah, I do too, you know, and that's.
I saw that it said work is performed in an office, but most people will have a home office, I would think.
correct, but I think all the, files should be kept on in the
Oh,
office.
sure, except for the one they're working on concurrently, I would imagine,
Yeah.
right?
So-
Maybe we should include that in the description here.
I think
because-
under work is performed in an office and or home office.
I can live with that.
Where's that?
Working conditions?
Way down at the last page, Lean.
Working conditions.
Right,
Yeah.
yeah, I see.
So it said
in
work
an
is performed in
office.
an office, and I think that's what Bob was alluding to.
Yeah, and or
Home office.
Office,
Files after complete need to be kept at the town office.
yeah,
Files,
is that where you wanna put that?
Yeah,
Working
right.
Well-
conditions?
oh, we could do number 3 if you'd rather.
It
That's
should-
working conditions. No, if you do,
That is what we want under, right, working conditions.
Essential duties.
I'm thinking about that.
I could put it right after 1. Work is to be performed in office and or home office. Files after complete to be kept at town
Or
office.
completed files,
Completed.
complete, just put with completed files.
Yeah, and that would be number
Files
2,
complete
and
is
then
fair
Yeah.
enough.
That's what I
One
put
less
it.
word.
completed
Files completed.
files,
To be maintained in the town office.
Be stored.
yeah,
at-
stored, yeah,
Stored at the
at, in secured, secure.
town office secure file.
Yeah.
At the town office.
You know, what that precludes is this, the issue we ran into with this, the previous, director.
Yep, secure file cabinet.
Which,
Okay, I like
So-
that. Completed files will be stored in town office secured filing cabinet.
it's good.
That would be number 2, and then 2 will be be the new 3.
That's fine.
Like it?
Yep.
It clearly delineates how, it allows them the ability to work from home. And-
Right.
And go through
Well,
cases.
that's why.
Which is what most of them are gonna wanna do,
Yeah,
because it's gonna be
exactly.
a nighttime and weekend type position, I would think.
Exactly.
The only time they might come here is if they have to do something in the filing cabinet.
Or meet with a
Yes.
candidate, meet with a
With
candidate.
someone.
Yeah, it could be their choice, if they prefer to
Yeah.
meet here at night, they'll have access to the building.
Or they
They'll
could
have
come here and work during the day if there's one or whatever.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay, we have consensus, gentlemen? We do?
We do.
Okay, we're good.
make the changes and get it
And
posted.
we'll sign it next week, but we can move out on it, as soon as you get it, adjusted. Okay, welfare guidelines. Lean, I'm gonna let you talk down.
All right, so. Did anyone grab the binder for the welfare? I'll go grab it.
That's the request for payment.
We talked about that, but we need to talk about,
That's that,
it's
right?
this right now.
Oh, I thought it was this.
No, it's not. Inflation, raises. So the question is, do we wanna readdress that after the non-public tonight, very quickly? Bob, do we need to address salary non-public tonight for this position?
I didn't think so, only because I think that once we saw how much Lean took for one case, it can get pretty involved.
True.
And I think that at least the first year, Mike, whoever takes that position will need to do a lot of research at the state level and
They have to,
at maybe some municipal training.
this is what they're gonna have to do, make a gold plated manual.
So at least for the first year, I would say no, maybe we'll look at it again.
Okay, so just for the record, the board, last week adopted, a welfare's guideline that was fairly recent and updated and adopted through Goffstown, which kind of fit our needs. So I put that in place. I also informed the board that we had a lot of records in our files that were given to us from our town attorney that were guidelines that were true and fit and met the, state requirements for all the forms that we should be using. I found that everything that was accessible, was either copies of copies, things were slanted, things were speckled. You could tell that some of the forms had been typed. And then once we received the keys to the cabinet to unlock the cabinet, which we received earlier this week, I did in fact find our welfare guidelines, Dunbarton, New Hampshire, revised April 1996. So this was a
I
good
knew it.
step. This was a good step with the board deciding to adopt this. It follows these guidelines pretty close, but it's a more
Lean,
current.
did you have a chance to go through them all or not, probably at this point?
No, I was in the, handling a case, so it was important that I had something that I needed to
My
work.
question is, do we wanna review both of them, see if there's anything we need to add to the Goffstown board?
I would like to delegate that to someone
Okay.
right now, because I still have a
Maybe
lot of
we
things.
could even do it to the new hire,
That's my thought too.
and then they can come back to our board with a recommendation.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
exactly what.
I
Why don't we
like-
do that?
I think that is a really good idea, because,
We've adopted a set that I think will cover us for now. We
Yeah.
have a secondary set that was
Yeah.
our
yeah, and
one
then
until
all these, forms, they run from A to Z, are in a Word document, but we should go through each and every one of them, put the town header on it, and the logo, and then adopt it as our official forms.
So luckily, we were not in violation. We
Correct.
had one, we just didn't know
Correct.
where it was.
We just couldn't get to it, so,
But we gave Lean the, working document to,
Right.
the policy. But the thing is, I agree with you, I think,
We'll let
whoever
the,
we hire
let
can be the lead person on it, since
Sure.
we don't have a lot of activity going on now.
the first thing we'll do is have a look at the differences between the two, and then if we address each one of the differences, we can see if we wanna add them or just, it takes care of it in another section or whatnot.
correct, and
I would think that most likely that Goffstown document takes care of most situations.
I agree, I would agree with that.
But someone needs to, gold plate that
Yeah.
sucker and
So
make
do
it
you
work.
think perhaps when I, do you think the job description describes enough of what that person's gonna be expected to do upon,
I think so, because, the
I
person
mean,
we're
I
gonna
can word
hire
it.
hopefully will, grab the bull.
I
by
can
the
word it as the initial, interest, the ad for, hiring is that the welfare director will be required to review current documents, update their documents, and report back to the board any,
Sure.
recommended changes, worded that way,
I
so
don't think
that
that will be
they
bad
can
to add.
familiarize themselves with
It's
the
the
town.
expectation.
You know, that may come out when you do, the interview
Yeah,
with the certain ones, to bring that out.
yeah,
So that we can, if we have a work session, we can incorporate all of that, so that we can adopt something.
I'm thinking out loud here, but why don't we add a line where, at the end under their duties, when we just had that open, that,
Required.
occasionally, that the person in this job will be required to meet with selectmen to review the documentation. Because it may not come up every year, but every other year or something like that, they may be required to,
That's the way it was before.
No. And I would be, review,
hopefully,
Dunbarton policy, welfare policy, and, and,
19th.
and recommend changes as needed.
Okay, where are we putting
I
that?
think under working conditions.
Oh, I was gonna say
do another
essential
three.
duties.
I think essential
Oh, under
duties,
essential?
yeah,
okay.
Review Dunbarton welfare guide and recommend changes as needed. That's an expectation of the person.
okay, reviews. Dunbarton. Welfare guide,
Is that what we call it, is it a welfare guide?
it is, the
Okay.
welfare guide, and what was the rest of
And
it?
recommend changes as needed.
To the board of selectmen.
As needed.
And now, we can, like Bob said, when we do our interviews, we can make sure that, they know that right
Initially,
off it needs to,
they're going
good.
to, yeah,
What about, can I throw another word out there? Free thinking? Annually. They may come in, no changes, but we expect that they meet with us once a year annually to recommend changes.
that's a good idea, I like that. Because we don't wanna get behind the eight ball again and have an old record that really needs, I mean, they may not be aware of laws that change that.
Well, I think it's just like our cemetery, when we were left high and dry with not a direction to go with that cemetery
Yeah,
position, I think that this is in the same status where we couldn't reach any files, so that's no place to leave a town.
correct, yep, so I'll make that number 14.
I like the word annually too.
And I would expect they would probably wanna meet with us annually during budget season
Yeah.
anyways.
Right,
Yeah,
but this would be a separate meeting, just talk about the, it may be a non-issue, that there's no changes this year.
Do you guys wanna add,
yeah, must
do you
meet,
guys wanna add about the budget season too in there, Lean, as part of that?
required to meet with the board annually for budget discussion,
Yep,
and that would be under essential duties.
yep, I agree. Again, we're setting the stage where the expectation is there.
Yeah.
Meet with board of selectmen annually
Well, once they do it once, they won't be nervous about it.
to discuss
As long as you're nice to them when they come back.
budget.
We gotta have a flat or a level.
Okay, next item, Lean, are you ready?
13, 14, 15, okay.
The next one was welfare job posting, I think we already have that.
Okay,
However,
so-
as a corollary to that, I'd like to establish a review committee, selection committee for the candidate. I would like to recuse myself because, not recuse myself, but step down from taking the lead there, but I like to recommend Lean as a principal and one selectman, and I'm taking volunteers.
I don't mind.
Okay,
Okay,
well,
and can you be the alternate in case needed?
Yeah.
So Bob, you will review the applications with Lean and come up with the recommendations of the board.
Okay,
And, we'll keep it open for how long? I was thinking, 8 working days,
2 weeks,
2 weeks,
Yeah,
2 weeks, 10 working days,
10 working days.
in case somebody's on vacation, in time to see it.
okay?
I will send applications out to those that have expressed interest, get them to move forward, and if they have questions about the job description and the policy, I can go ahead and forward those as well.
And, when you stepped out, we had just talking briefly about the wages.
Mhm.
We recommended at this point no changes to the wage schedule.
Only because we feel this first year especially, Lean is gonna have a lot of work getting up to speed.
Okay,
Maybe some courses at the state level or whatnot.
yeah, that's all,
recommended.
yep, okay.
Okay. All right. Are we done with welfare?
Okay, so we did the job description, we talked about the guidelines, we're gonna post the office, post the job opening, and I think, let me just check my notes.
Are we gonna try and post it tomorrow or Monday, Lean?
I'm gonna try. No guarantees, my CPA is coming in tomorrow, so I wanna try to delegate 100% of my time to him if at all possible.
probably wouldn't hurt to start next Monday anyways.
Yeah.
And that way they,
Five,
Two-
two,
two
two
full
weeks.
Okay,
Yeah.
just one more thing on the welfare, I did cancel Salvation Army Pantry insurance through the insurance agent and asked for the refund to the town, so that's been taken care of. And that would be everything associated with that department.
All right, moving on. Library painting, request for proposals.
Okay, this is very, very preliminary, but I think with the support I got from a second pair of eyes, I think we have something here that I'm gonna ask the board to take home and review, and, the board should understand that the page 1 of this, page 2, page 3, they are all standard boilerplate, and anything that I've made a change to is in red. So the boilerplate, aside from identifying it as the paint exterior town hall library RFP, everything else is boilerplate that has been reviewed by our town attorney, that really is a template that we should continue to use. And then as you get on to, page 6, that starts the exhibit A, which is the type of work that we're expecting them to do, the quality of work.
Which page is that?
Page 6.
Page 6,
It's in
page
red.
4
7.
and 5 are also, by the
Yeah, 3,
Okay.
4, 5, I think there's just one there that I put in accordance with EPA laws at the top of page 4 in red. But the rest remains as a boilerplate. And then the exhibit A is pretty much the subject of the work that we're looking to have done.
One thing, Lean asked me to bring a service that be thinking about is how we wanna make the payments. That's on page 8, part 5, 3/4 of the page down.
Yeah, we should really look at that closely, because we don't wanna get burned like we did last time.
Well, we didn't on the paint. Just wanna make sure it's clear. We didn't
Right.
get burned on paint, it was a,
It was other contracts.
Correct.
And so the thing is that, I guess the goal of tonight is not to, is just to take this home, this is homework to review, and then next week come back, and the goal next week is to have,
Mike, being where our agenda is somewhat limited
Yeah.
tonight, do you wanna go down through these items per item, and, you know, Woody, or
We
our
can.
transfer station guy's not here?
Yeah,
I don't mind
Wanna
doing
take a
that.
few minutes?
Yeah,
I
think
don't know,
that-
it's up to you.
We're
And
doing good.
Minutes,
also, the majority of the paint information came from this original quote that we had for this building. I liked the
I
formatting.
like his words.
It covered a lot of the bases that I'm not familiar with, that they said they would be guaranteeing in their quote. So I felt like these were good tools for me to use. Do we wanna go through?
Yeah, I'd say, I agree with, we can use some
Dave?
time right now, Dave, yeah,
Yeah.
let's go through it. I start at page 6.
Yeah,
Oh, no.
let's do page
Well,
6.
can we just look at page 1? Is everyone okay with calling the proposal paint exterior of Town Hall Library?
I like that name.
That's okay?
Yeah, it was a previous, town hall use, and now it's library, but I still consider that the main town hall for their town, so.
Right, right. Okay, so, the only change I made on page 2, I didn't see the necessary, it had in there, all voices must be in duplicate, show, and I don't, showing contractor's name, we only need one. All invoices must show contractor's name, unit, extension prices, discount allowed, that's the only change I made there. We don't really need duplicate, they may or may not follow it, so I didn't think it was necessary to do that. Page 3,
Was good.
I didn't really make any changes here. It was pretty much, it's a generic template that talks about the contractor doing business with the Board of Selectmen. Page 4 at the top. That first sentence was in the template, in compliance with RSA, I think that RSA came from here. Or I might have looked it up, I think I saw it. I guess I can look that up. Do you know, Bob, if, that sentence says, in compliance with RSA 277A, known as the Workers' Right to Know Act? Is that a standard comment that I should include with this? It's under, toxic substance.
Page 4, top.
I can look up the RSA.
Yeah, I don't know what the RSA is, I know that there's any material like that they have to work with, they're supposed to know what
Yeah.
the hazards.
And based on this
Conditions.
quote that we had originally, it mentions here that, the building will be treated as containing lead-based paint, prepping and painting done will be done in accordance with EPA laws. So that's what I added here, so I can double check the
But,
RSA.
Lean, I'm gonna, really, that's, the MSD is really to protect the workers. In other words, MSD is material safety data sheet, in other words, when paint comes in, the workers have to know that the paint is toxic.
MSD, oh, that's what that is,
Yeah.
MSD, okay.
And so it's that, it's a EPA, it's not really environmental, it's more of a work protection.
Okay,
And so I think you can almost strike in accordance with EPA laws out, because MSDs are really to protect workers.
okay, then where would you want me to put the, in accordance with EPA laws, because it's
It talks more about lead paint, when we talk to the area about lead
toxic
paint.
subject. Well, that's where we would wanna put it, toxic substance.
What toxic substance refers to the material they're bringing in.
Oh, okay, bringing in, okay,
We see with the delivery of any or known products covered,
I got it.
okay? agree with that? So we can strike that out. Okay, now we're on page 6, Lean?
Are we taking the whole
No,
section out?
just in accordance with EPA laws.
Okay, so doesn't belong there, is what you're
Correct.
saying, okay.
But EPA laws can, when it governs lead paint, we can talk about that.
Okay, so there were no other changes aside from the title, and then I included in bold, on that first paragraph, purpose of this invitations to, invitations to bid is to establish contact between the contractor and the Dunbarton Board of Selectmen to paint the exterior of the Dunbarton Town Hall Library. Pretty basic, no other changes. It's basically asking that they provide at their disposal the proper equipment to perform the services properly. So that's for, you see anything that's,
Nope.
okay, exhibit A.
Just to get change to the top, remember repair and paint, it's called, completion of the painting of the town exterior.
Okay,
Remember?
paint,
Yeah,
okay, we're taking the word paint out, right?
no, repair out.
Repair, that's what I meant.
Yep.
Repair.
Where is that?
On page 6, at part 1A, the second sentence,
Okay.
completion of
Painting.
painting the exterior, okay.
No, it does need to say repair and.
No,
paint.
but that's only refers to the title, we're gonna talk about, it's in there indirectly. What I don't wanna do, thing is,
What don't?
Dave, right here, the original title had repair. Once you put the repair, it's gonna drive the cost up, I'm
I'm
convinced.
not looking at repair
No.
there, I'm on this page right here,
Yeah.
6.
But he wants it to be consistent with the title.
I
So he
don't
wants,
think, I don't think we want to. I don't think we wanna say repair and paint the exterior, cause those corners, the loose plinth blocks
Oh,
and
absolutely.
whatnot need to be repaired as they're working on that building, and I wanna make sure they're aware of that, and I think anybody that comes and does a
But make
bid
it,
will know.
make it, leave repair in there, make it small letter, small letter, because it's not a title. Repair and painting of the exterior, I'll leave it in the,
okay,
I'll
so
say
a
Dave,
small
small
part,
little,
okay.
small, and that would be fine,
Yeah, 'cause you get a lot of dry rot too.
right?
And then small for paint,
Yes,
the word paint should be small,
because of the project named above, you already named the project, and you're right, it's already been named there.
repair and paint,
Leave it just as it is, just make it regular letters.
yeah, but I take the word
I
of.
like, the only thing highlighted in that first paragraph should be all architectural features will be preserved.
Okay, so
Just make the
repair
rest of
and
it part
paint,
of it.
Agreed,
I'm gonna take the word of, cause it doesn't read right.
right, correct,
Repair and paint the exterior on the project named above. Does that sound right?
No, the odds sound right, the repair and paint of the,
Completion of repair and paint of the exterior, that.
no, I think repair and paint the exterior. of the
building on the project named above.
Exterior building of the project named above, yes, exterior
Building,
So repair and paint
The exterior building,
the building exterior on
the
the project.
project
building.
named above,
Yeah.
Okay,
Yep, the and put building in there.
all right. On the project named above, this work will include treating the building, I took the word historic, because as soon as you include historic, price will go up.
Where are you now?
right there, historic.
Right
Just
before the
word
end.
struck out.
Oh,
The work will include treating the building as containing lead-based paint.
That says it all right there.
All architectural features will be preserved. And that architectural features can be on any kind of building, so I don't think it needs to be, historic word needs to be in there.
Okay. Number 1 describes the building as a 2-story commercial building.
Yeah, again,
Commercial can be small letter C.
okay. Okay, small case.
Instead of commercial, you could put governmental building too.
Do we wanna say governmental commercial building?
but I think take commercial right out, put town hall / library building. Just like you have in your title.
Okay.
Only cause commercial
Oh,
It-
invokes commercial
Commercial.
rates.
yeah, okay, that's where I'm thinking,
That's
So just list it like you did up in the
okay,
beginning,
so town
2-story town hall,
hall,
library
library
building.
yeah, / library building.
Yep, that's good.
building, okay.
All areas to be worked will have adjacent surfaces covered to protect from contamination. All debris will be considered hazardous material and disposed of in accordance with hazardous disposal laws. No problem with that, number 2.
No,
All peel and paint will be scraped and sanded to a solid surface.
I'm only good with that because there's other things contained lower than that, so I think that's fine the way it is with the other add-ons down below.
Caulking will be applied as needed.
That's-
No, I think we have to go to the one right on 3,
The bullet,
the bullet. Areas to include
Siding,
siding, soffit, columns, porches, window trim, doors, and side lights, and corners.
You know, if there is lead paint, they can't sand.
Yeah, they did,
yeah,
here.
yeah, they did.
Yeah, he ribbons it all off and sands. He does it in accordance with the laws.
yeah, they have to
He
close
did
it
this
off,
building, yeah,
basically.
he quarantined off a section as he worked on it.
Yeah.
Which it says in here too, Bob. That they will protect the other
Protect.
areas of the building when they're sanding one section.
Okay, it's not corners, but what's all those things
They're
called?
corner plinth blocks is what they are,
The flint,
plinth.
plinth, PLIN,
Okay, so areas to include siding, soffit, columns, porches, it should be right in there somewhere. Corner,
plinth blocks.
That's
how do you
what they
spell
are.
that? Plinth, with a P, is that what you're saying? Or
Well,
maybe
that's
I'm
what
not
I
hearing it
spelled over
right.
here.
PLINTH.
Plinth
Yes, I think that's right.
blocks, is that what you call it?
Plinth blocks,
So I'll put that right
yeah.
after
Corner plinth
columns
blocks.
Yep,
and before porches,
okay.
and comma, window trim, doors, and sidelights.
Yeah, just so they know they're more than a standard corner.
Okay,
Can we, make one?
what?
The new door does not have to be painted. We're doing that. We can talk about that.
We might need a second coat.
Yeah, it's always good to put a second coat
Okay,
on the door.
okay. We have the paint,
Yeah.
okay.
Um,
Caulking will be applied as needed. You wanna expand upon that?
I did, I put a note on there only because, after seeing this building done and what he suggested, any of the nails that were loose on this building, he set them in and then he applied caulking over them to keep them from bleeding out.
Right.
Okay,
So I put, after needed, I put, and, what did I do?
yeah.
Caulking will be applied as needed and to bleeding nails after being set.
And nails. After being set.
Now, that building has a lot of new siding on it, it's not really,
Oh,
the
sorry.
nails aren't bleeding yet.
You're right. But though he might come across some sections that we needed.
On the old
Okay.
nails and stuff, so that's why, like on the corners.
Yep.
So caulking will be applied as needed and to bleeding nails after being set.
Yes,
Okay, got it.
so we'll set them with the punch and then caulk over them.
Mhm.
And that won't last forever, but it'll last a few
Oh,
years.
it's better than what we've seen on this one. Okay, number 5.
That looks like we're looking for a number, right?
Yeah, because if you look at that sample that I gave you, they are, I don't wanna mention names here, but, in this particular quote, they said, where did I read it? 1 coat of oil-based bonding primer,
Which is what we're gonna require here, that's what they did on this building as well. So 1 coat of,
you're okay with 1?
Yep.
yes. What's that space after of for?
Oh, okay, why did I do that? Coat of,
I say 1 coat, and 2 coats of exterior, I wanna put latex paint, exterior latex paint to match this color.
okay, it was a brand, the first part of it was a
Okay.
brand.
Yeah, so we
So
won't
do
do
we
that.
want to just say 1 coat,
Of oil-based bonding prior to encapsulate.
so we're
lead
gonna
paint.
take out the pound of, and just put 1 coat
Coat.
of oil-based bonding primer to encapsulate lead paint and 2 coats of,
Exterior latex paint.
and we don't wanna put a name, we're just gonna say, ask them to provide the name.
Yes,
How do we wanna put that in?
it's in, I think you're gonna name it already in specifications, you already asked for it and you listed.
Okay, so 2 coats of exterior paint,
Does that make sense?
No, on number 5, 1 coat of oil-based bonding primer to encapsulate lead paint and exposed,
it's in the
Wood
next, it's in the next one,
oh, it is,
number
okay.
6, okay.
Alright, so we'll skip it on this one.
And 2 coats of exterior paint to match existing white color and sheen to be applied.
Yeah, what's that line before exterior?
We're just
for?
gonna take it out, it was a brand, you don't wanna list the brand, you're just gonna let them provide the name.
That'll
Of
be
the
part of the
paint.
budget, that'll be part of the proposal.
So the next one is areas with exposed raw wood will have
And
an,
I think it is good not to label it whether it's oil base or latex, cause either one of them are okay over.
You mean on top of it?
Yeah, on the two coats, you don't need to. When you do an oil base coat, you can either use latex on top or oil base.
okay, so we don't need to list
You
it
don't
as
want latex?
latex there.
No, I don't think we need to. Most all of them are gonna use it nowadays, but I don't think we need to specify it.
Okay, so number 6 covers that raw wood,
They're asking for 2 coats of base primer.
Or too smooth on the surface. I don't think that's a bad idea, it will smoothen it a little bit better than one coat on there.
it definitely will, yeah.
I just think that he put one heavy coat here, I think.
Well, I think originally we had gotten some blotchiness that Bob picked up on,
And
and
he
I think
covered
it
over
was.
it again, cause he didn't like it himself, he did it on his own.
Bob pointed out a few areas that he missed that he wanted
Yeah.
done again,
And he
so-
went back and redid it all, so yeah, I think that leaving that in there is not a bad idea.
Okay,
Number 7 was what you taught me last year. Maybe applied by spraying, but will require back brushing to work paint into and under all crafts and cradle.
Yeah.
so we changed the word from this proposal here to may, so if they choose, they wanna do the hands,
If they wanna use some spraying, fine, but they gotta do back brushing with it.
Yeah, I think that's good.
8,
Sounds good, really, materials.
what, 8 is kinda screwy, not to exceed amount, not to exceed a bid amount,
yeah.
should word,
Quote must include labor, materials, and not to exceed amount. We had one quote that had said that, and I thought it was a good thing to be able to say, okay, we're gonna guarantee that we can do this for this job, but we're not going to exceed.
Right, because that's typically done with a timeline, like say they did half the building this year, half next year. That's where that comes into play, so depending on how they do the length of time to do the building.
Yep,
So I think that leaving it just as it is.
but how about, but we're with the word bid amount in there.
quote must include labor and materials and not to exceed,
BID amount.
to bid
It already
amount.
has quotes must include labor and materials to exceed.
Amount is just amount, what do you mean by amount?
Well, it could be at the
Could be
beginning,
dollar amount.
it could be at the beginning, bid quote must include. Oh, no, it doesn't, whatever.
Quote
Okay.
must include labor, materials, and not to exceed amount.
How about dollar amount?
Bid amount would be, makes
And
sense.
not to exceed amount is if they run into, issues when they're doing the building. So I think let's leave it in there just as it is and see what comes back to us.
Okay. I'm, either way, I just wanted to make sure it's understandable.
So in other words, if they're working on the building and they run into rot, there's a not to exceed amount in there as well.
Gotcha. We'll look at number 9 though, that's where it comes back.
Yeah,
If there's a rot, it's too much, you have to have a change order.
right,
Yeah, that's okay then. Covers both of us that way.
Yeah. That way, we want them to do it right, we don't just want them to paint rotten wood. All right, we're on to part 2, quality control.
okay. I wanted to try to include the fact that they need to section off an area so that it's protecting the public from getting to, in that area, so.
Yeah, that was good, the only thing I was looking at this is, I was trying to relate it to the weather, cause we don't want it to be done in the spring rain season, we don't want it to be done after the freeze season, so.
I think did we mention that somewhere?
You kinda do mention that in quality control.
Back here further.
Well, quality control, contractors should make certain that the surfaces to which paint is applied are suitable for condition during application. In other words, if they're starting to paint on a wet building, that's a violation, that's a contract violation.
Where is that?
B, part 2, quality control, B,
On what page?
page 7.
Oh, all right, got it, I'm getting
Yeah.
tired here.
Contractor shall make certain surfaces to which the paint is to be applied are in a suitable condition during application. In other words, you can't paint on a wet building.
Yeah, that's it, let's leave it like that.
Does that work?
Yeah.
Okay,
And then other quality control, that's, I think C was boilerplate.
Yeah, it was.
Then, part three, materials. We can take the word, just to take the word, strike the word latex out of there, just leave the exterior paint. They said we're gonna be consistent,
Manufacturer of
Is that,
exterior paint and oil
base
based.
primer. Yep.
we just take the word latex out, okay?
Yep,
Yeah,
I added, replacement wood siding as needed. Product warranty, workmanship warranty period.
Do we have to include the nails and the wood and stuff like that? Nails and wood?
not so much nails, but, replace wood siding
Replacement,
and wood siding and rotted material as needed, because of corners and some of the window frames. Replacement of wood siding and,
rotted material as needed.
Needed.
And that's where number 9 may be, if they uncover more rot than that they quoted on, they're gonna have to come back to us. And we give them the, paragraph 9, they can do that.
product warranty.
Interior color will be white. Can we put color white to match existing color?
Do-
What,
What are you talking about?
right here, material color, part 4.
Number 3, go back to number 3 for just a second, up above. Replacement of wood siding
Replacement of wood siding and,
and rotted material as needed, but can we include the nails? Is the nails gonna be a given that they're gonna provide us? I
they
want,
gotta nail it on
Yeah, it isn't gonna hold itself.
as needed, with fasteners you wanna put?
no, I'm just saying, if you think that we won't end up with an extra cost,
No, I don't think.
I know my husband gives bids, and he has to say, we'll provide nails and securing,
Most framing contractors supply their own nails, that's why
yeah.
that might be the situation there.
Okay, so we're good here then, okay.
Material will be, just get rid of the word material will be, just strike that word completely. Just say color, white to match
To
Match town office building.
town office building. How about adjacent, I don't want them to confuse the two. It's
No,
this
this
building.
is town office, that doesn't have town office on it anyway.
Okay,
Do we have any leftover cans of the white that's here? Cause I don't know what that is. Oh, would they just take a sample of this?
We can pull his bid out, it has his paint right in there,
Okay,
if somebody has a question on what color it is.
okay.
execution. Contract service of paint removal with service brown. Any defects in signage shall be corrected prior to, that's all, common sense.
Yeah, but I just wanted to make sure it's in there.
Yeah.
Can I interject something?
Please,
Should execution part 5. Part 4 material color, part 4 execution, something like this.
Oh, yep, you're right.
Mark Labby, good catch.
Good catch, thank you.
Oh, good to see you paying attention. Let's see,
Oh,
is
then
part
we're gonna have to
6 go
shift them
into it?
all.
It's all right, yeah. Payment's
Okay,
gonna be
so
6.
2, 3,
7,
4,
okay.
5. This will be 6.
Now see what you
7.
started?
All right, we'll make the adjustments.
Trickle it down, trickle it down.
What could have went, 5A, 5B, no. Exterior paint. Some of this is repetitive, but I think it's okay. for-
To me, it's a good reminder.
Did I product, right, not produce? Product will be replaced.
Right,
C.
produce.
This whole installation section seems to be repetitive to the other section. Oh, cause we took this here, when you did A,
Description,
yeah, under description, we kinda added,
installation, it's repetitive of what
that's
we.
okay,
Okay,
it's okay, cause that's a general description of the work, and then here's the installation.
Just,
for it.
exterior paint, take latex out for consistency.
which line?
B3.
3.
B, 3. Okay, next two, yep.
Again, it reiterates it. But the thing is, remember, on part, if you're gonna take everything, on the B subparagraph,
Mhm.
you have to put the word in there, plinths.
Oh, yeah, plinth blocks.
I learned a new word tonight.
Blocks, okay,
Just to be consistent.
I will make sure it's right in there.
Corners,
Corners,
plinth block corners,
okay,
They call them coin corners,
coin corners.
that's what they
Yeah.
call them.
I like that word.
I like that word.
Okay, clean up, on a daily basis, we want the area left clean. And then I put B in there, measures will be taken to ensure that windows and other exterior surfaces are protected and clean from paint, overspray, and drippings.
Okay.
Because, Mr. Tuttle in this building, he pointed out on the windows that the last guy who did it was a swab.
Yep, the last guy was free.
But that doesn't matter,
Boy, the 3 ago was free,
yeah, but even on the,
and we paid them all.
I said exterior structures, I'm talking about the air conditioner, I don't want the air conditioner full of paint drips. So that's why that was in there, cleanup. Now payment, we wanna talk about payment,
Yeah. An advance payment leave on cost of material. Contractor when the materials were inside price transfer.
I'd say just advance payment of 50% will be provided, or you wanna do 40%.
I didn't wanna do any of these.
Advance payment?
Yeah.
Yeah, and we,
When we did this
No,
building, we didn't do any
material,
of this.
I don't have a problem with materials, but I got a problem giving the guy half of the money up front, and then him running and doing a couple other
Now,
jobs
last-
in between.
Last time they gave us kind of a payment schedule and we were okay with it, cause they didn't ask for any money down the
okay, so
start.
Right.
why don't we say the contractor will provide a payment schedule that is agreed upon between,
Payment schedule to be reviewed by Board of Selectmen with the selected contractor.
payment,
And most of them know they're not gonna get it all up front.
He didn't ask for
Schedule.
hardly anything up front here, so most of it was in arrears.
will be
Bob, I agree with you.
Reviewed and
Just
accepted?
materials.
Reviewed and accepted by Selectmen after contractor has been chosen.
and selected, by selectmen.
And I agree, the only thing up front should be materials.
And like you said, maybe a 15 or 20%.
What was that part about the contractor? Awarded?
Contractor was selected.
After contractor has been selected.
Payment schedule will be reviewed by selectmen after,
You put payment schedule,
payment schedule will be reviewed by selectmen after
contract has been awarded.
contract
Has been awarded.
has
I'm
been.
trying to think of something different, because you might not come to an agreement after it's awarded.
True.
No, we will.
They all had their payment schedules laid out in their proposals last year.
They should anyways, cause they did last time, you know.
Yeah, that's what they did last.
Yep,
You might just wanna have, please provide, you know,
Yeah, before all that,
payment schedule.
yeah,
You
before
know-
that, put a line, please provide payment schedule request. And
Or
then leave
proposal.
that whole other,
Or proposal, one or the other, yeah.
and then leave that whole paragraph we just said underneath it.
So, okay, so this
Because
part's
then we
coming
can
out,
negotiate
Yeah, right.
back and forth.
okay, what is this, contractor or? Will provide
proposed payment schedule.
proposed payment schedule.
Yeah, I have a feeling this schedule is how we lost out on it.
You know, you can see where some of this
Yeah.
came from this
And,
original.
and
got
then
75%
payment
down.
schedule will be reviewed
By the Board of
by
Selectmen.
selectmen after contract has been
I
awarded.
wouldn't put anything to deal with the award of the,
Okay,
Do you want to strike it?
just have them provide you a payment schedule,
so.
cause then we can have that discussion as we
Well, I
go
want them to
along.
know that we have to approve it, but
Or you can put with the approval, you know, with
Uh,
the approval of the selectmen, but you know, I wouldn't wanna award something
proposed
and then
payment
try to.
Oh, take the word after award.
For consideration by the board or
Yeah.
for,
well, read the first part of it first.
contractor will provide proposed payment schedule.
Yeah. And then read the second
payment schedule will be reviewed by selectmen after contract has been awarded.
Or during,
Oh, during review
during
process.
review, yes, I was thinking.
Instead of afterward, during review process.
Okay,
Took the words out of my,
During-
stole them out of here.
Yeah, I was listening to you as you were speaking.
review process,
Okay,
okay,
that's good. Insurance is a boilerplate.
yep. Is that a standard for a paint job, you know?
It looks pretty standard, yeah.
Can I just, the sentence that you just agreed upon, how does that read?
Contractor will provide proposed payment schedule,
For
Period.
consideration?
Period.
so, payment schedule will be reviewed by selectmen during the review process.
Perfect.
Okay, thank you.
You'd want that because, when Tuttle painted this, he had a guy working with him, helping him. And so you wanna make sure that they have workers' compensation insurance. Unless he can prove
Yeah.
the guy is actually an independent contractor.
Okay,
Which then he'd have to provide us with his insurance certificate.
Right.
Either way will be covered.
why do we need evidence of automobile insurance?
Where'd you see that one?
That's on the next page.
Oh, good.
Now, does that really apply to us here?
Let me get to it.
Right at the top of the page. This looks
Prior
good.
to the word of the country shall furnish certificate of insurance. No, we don't care about that.
I was gonna say, yeah.
Okay,
Cross
we'll
that
take
right
that
off
out.
there. Country shall contain.
Okay. That's where you were talking about that next paragraph,
Yeah.
Bob.
Yep.
And that's important because you wouldn't believe how many contractors buy a certificate of workers' comp, and the day the job starts, they cancel it.
Can I ask you guys a question, that it may be something we check with our provider? If I do, work on a resident, I get that liability insurance policy, and then I always have a homeowner do a builder's risk policy, and that takes care of fire and theft and all that on there, and it's very cheap for them to pick up as a homeowner to buy builder's risk, where I would provide the liability insurance for the coverage of liability on the job. Do we wanna check with our insurance provider to see if there's any, builder's risk insurance that we need to take out after we're having that work being done? Like, say they're grinding on the building, they go home for the day, somehow that building burns. We wanna make sure that we have a policy in place as a town that would cover anything that they don't cover on theirs, so. And I think we just ask that question to our
Yeah,
insurance
that's a
providers.
good question, yeah.
I know that's how I do individual contracts, so it may not apply on a town level, and they might tell you that right up front, as a town, you don't need to do that, or you're covered
But,
already.
you know, sanding creates heat and sparks.
Right.
Something festers in there
What
as
is
they
it
go home.
called?
Builder's risk insurance.
Yeah.
Builder? Okay,
It may be called something slightly different on a town level too, but I think that if we don't check it,
We might be, we gotta do due diligence here.
yeah, okay,
Okay.
I like that.
Okay, moving down to qualification of contractors, we're just asking for three,
yeah, which they all provided us last time.
right, but there may be someone new. Now, next section,
Now,
Wait,
wait a
you're-
minute,
right,
Yeah, you're in the
Exhibit B.
price. You're gonna go here first.
yeah,
right?
exactly.
We put a line through price for side, price.
Well, I left it there, but Mike wanted the whole building,
I tend to agree with Mike, I'd like to get a price on the entire building done. And if somebody wants to break it up and come to us and say, listen, I'd love to do your building, but I can only do 2 sides this year, and I'll do 2 as early as possible next year, Then we'll work with those individuals as we do our
Review process,
review process.
but the whole job,
I do want that too.
Okay, so we're only going to list price to complete 4 sides?
I wouldn't even put it sides,
Don't
just put price to paying, total project price.
Alright, so we can write total project price.
And I think get rid of the whole section, work and materials outside
I
of
was
scope.
looking at that, so.
We don't need that in there at all.
So, work and material outside of scope, you don't wanna keep that there?
No,
That
cause
isn't-
that would come to us at a later point, Lean, if they had a change order, which that's. stated
Change order
above.
would cover that
Yes.
part of it, okay, so take that out, okay. And then this one here,
The only other thing I'd like to have with price, and maybe it's covered here again, is time frame
oh, I think.
Total
do I have that
price.
somewhere?
and total time frame.
Now, the proposed timeframe,
Yes, proposed,
completion timeframe,
Okay,
or project completion timeframe.
project completion time frame.
and they'll all put in there pending on weather and
Oh,
this
yeah.
and that, but we'll have.
A rainy summer could be the
So
demise.
put total
So,
price
so
on there.
exhibit B will be paint, total project price, and then project completion timeframe.
It's only used for calls.
Okay.
Okay,
Alright, now we're on the last page, right guys?
Yep,
well, the page 10 is just the contractor information, list of clients, phone numbers, list of projects.
Perfect, that's good.
Okay,
all right.
and then, visual review of town hall library requests for proposal bidders take notice. Arrangement to view all interested, all interested bidders on this project must do a pre-job site inspection at the designated time and place on blank. You can,
We'll give them 2 weeks, so we'll make it the following Tuesday.
oh, so tomorrow's the 4th, I'm gonna be working Saturday, because I
But
can't
You
work.
wanna put this out for Monday, let's say,
Mhm,
just like we're doing the other job. So if we put this out for Monday,
yeah,
2 weeks from there, the Tuesday after that would be
I would stretch it
probably
to
a
the
bit more of a
Wednesday,
late
I would
weekend,
stretch.
wouldn't it?
Yeah, so if I get this out on Monday, I give them all next week, which is not really all of it, cause they'll only be getting it in the mail.
So we'll be looking at the 22nd, Lean, is that what I'm
The
looking at?
22nd is Tuesday, I would stretch it to the Wednesday, the 23rd, so that they have time to get it in, but when are you gonna do a visit of the building?
This is what I'm talking about, Tuesday.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Okay, so I wanted to do the walk of Tuesday,
Tuesday, the 22nd,
yeah?
who's gonna do that? Who's
I
gonna
would, I
volunteer?
would like to do it.
Okay,
You have,
Well, doing anything, huh?
yeah.
May
I can't join
22nd,
the meeting.
Let's
What time-
do
what
9
time?
AM,
what is it?
9 AM,
That's when all the bidders come in?
yep.
Yes,
Okay.
And May 22nd, 9 AM, May 22nd,
okay.
David. And anybody else is welcome to come, but we'll have to post it.
Mhm. But I think it's important because.
Mike, you wanna be the backup if I can't?
I
make
will
it?
be, yeah.
Okay.
In fact, one of what, post, I will join.
Okay.
With the things I've,
Okay,
That way if one of us has an appointment,
um,
Right.
we're covered.
yeah, but I'll be, but I can still, I'll try to put the value added. You taught me so well last year.
are you okay with that, Bob?
Sure.
But you want that, Bob, you're welcome to it, it'll be posted.
No, that's okay.
Okay. I'll try and hold him back, Bob, from being gibberish.
I'm not taking minutes,
We shouldn't need minutes,
No.
it's just a job.
yeah.
Let me see, I can see from the town.
And I will word it that the board, a quorum of the board of selectmen may be present.
Correct.
And Lean,
Yes,
out of courtesy to the companies that bid with us last year,
yeah,
along with posting it, could we place just a quick call to each of them?
yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
I think out of a courtesy, we had some good bids last year, so.
Lean, that's the week I cannot attend. No, it's May 22nd.
May 10th.
Correct it. No, leave it, I'm good.
Okay.
June. I'm good.
Just so you know, that is, no, is that a holiday week?
Labor Day weekend is the weekend after
The
that,
following-
right?
No Memorial.
Following,
Monday
um,
Memorial Day, I'm sorry.
Memorial- following
Already putting
Monday.
us to the end of the summer.
Ugh,
Jeez.
okay.
Okay, signed hard copies to the Dunbarton Board of Selectmen, or must be on, or you wanna put the last day, you said Wednesday?
That I will do a Wednesday. How much time are you gonna give them to get their numbers together? Dave, after they've done a walkthrough?
I would say that following week, the 31st.
And we have a meeting that day.
It would be the 30th then. You think 7 days after they do a
Oh, yeah.
walkthrough is plenty of
Plenty.
time?
Because
So-
you're giving them 2 weeks to look at the bid and review it, and then you give them a full week after the
Write the
walk.
paperwork, yep.
Okay, so Wednesday, May 30th. Are we meeting that night?
Yeah, no, the May 31st we're meeting. Yes, we
My
are.
birthday.
We are meeting.
We are meeting?
I'll have to take that night on.
Okay,
I'm just kidding.
I think.
So
we don't-
yeah, we'll do May 30th, that way you should have them in a day before our meeting, that would be good.
And I'll give it to the end of the day, 3 PM. It's typically when they ask them to get them
Yep.
back in.
Which line are we on this?
Right here.
That would be vendor
Okay.
offer format.
May 30th,
Wednesday, May 30th, 3
3
PM.
PM.
I like to put the day in there, cause they'll say I looked at May and didn't get the right.
alright, I'm gonna put Wednesday after 3
When-
PM.
Before 3 PM.
Five,
jeez.
3 PM. I want them in here, I don't want them coming in at
4 o'clock.
4:03 and saying, I made it, nobody was here.
I'm just saying where I'm putting my word Wednesday.
I think I'm gonna take a vacation after that.
We took a long time, we didn't take.
We've already pulled like 4 or 5 jobs from what you're doing.
Okay,
Okay, are we, do we
I
have
will-
consensus here?
Please please be sure to complete pages.
I will verify that if there are any pages that require their information, that I will include them in, on that little section. It's typically things like on page 1, page
Oh, yeah,
10,
photos and-
Yeah, you should well understand.
and anywhere that they may need to sign or fill in.
Okay,
They don't, and that is, yeah, 12, they have to sign that.
Okay, we have a back page, which is,
that's,
12.
that's,
yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
I think we're good to go.
Well, it was good to get that out of the way.
Oh my God, I was,
Post-it Lean.
Oh my god.
She thought she was gonna have another week, we tied her right up on that one.
oh, that was good. Okay, I'm
Let's
gonna,
go through the mailbox.
I'm gonna do that right now. Alright, we have one note from a, Scott Baker about a resident who was upset, need more information, now I'm gonna defer this till we discuss with the, transfer station manager.
Mike, let's at least say that it's for the transfer station.
Yeah, it's for the transfer station. It was just a gentleman was upset with the cost of, dumping, materials, we don't know what the materials were, or know the quantity.
And drove off.
And drove off, and so, I think it's worth discussing,
I
and
don't think it also states if he drove off without dumping it or with dumping it.
Oh, he dumped it.
He did that.
Yeah, he did dump it. I
And
just
without
saw
paying.
Scott today out here.
we,
Without
The
paying.
guy threw it all
without
in.
paying,
Yeah.
he got in his truck and drove off without paying,
He doesn't say it
It
dumped
doesn't-
it
it
there
doesn't
either,
say.
so we'll have to.
so we should talk about that. But that's, I'm gonna put that on hold.
Okay.
Alright, next item is, we have, the Bow Republican Committee tried to put, on our bulletin board, a political notice, and the thing is, I don't know if we have a policy, but I think we should create a policy, that we don't put just public, political campaign information on our public bulletin.
I don't know that we officially adopted a policy, but it has been common practice from past boards that to keep the board, for town business
Business.
only and not get involved with, like someone saying you put so-and-so's notice up there, but you're not gonna put mine. If it's politically driven, it could get a little,
And this all goes, it's not a for sale board where you put puppies for sale and stuff like that, it's for town business. And
I
so,
wasn't allowed to do it, so nobody else should be able to.
Bob, I think we have consensus.
Yeah.
consensus, so we're okay, we're
Yeah.
good. So that woman asked that I communicate to her whether it's a yes or no, so
That's
I
it.
will make sure that she's
Right.
made aware that we will not post her notice up there.
Okay. We all got an email, next item, Dunbarton Police Department, we got an activity log, And I just thought it was notable that, he's conducting some community events on Monday, May 14th at an elementary school. It's a civilian response to active shooter event. And then he's doing that's at, Monday, May 14th at 6 PM. And then Sunday, May 27th, from 2 to 4, they're having a Dunbarton Bicycle Rodeo. It's in cooperation with the PTO and a few other organizations in town, but it's the first ever bicycle rodeo, free family-friendly event, open to all ages and riding experience. Participants will have the opportunity to visit their local police and fire departments, go through a ride and skills agility course. So that's kinda interesting. It was fun to read that, and it was unfortunate, then you had to read the incidents, and I didn't like that. Just read it, gentlemen, just make it,
How's that for I don't wanna see the date on it, I
That's
forget
where
what
you
the date
go.
I'll put it with this.
oh, I thought you said cut
I
it.
know you were talking fast.
Okay,
is.
but it's on the Dunbarton PTO website, it's also on the Dunbarton Police Department Facebook, but
And
this
it's
is,
on our hot topics.
I don't know how topics do.
Well, not the activity, but the rodeo is on our homepage.
Okay, we have a next item, another thing from the police department, just a routine step increase for one of their employees. Bob, you already signed it?
Yeah,
Oh, I'm going fast to test you,
Okay.
so what do you wanna do with this?
just FYI.
Well, it's,
Oh, you're supposed to take an action, okay?
well, no, not an action, but
No?
you have to acknowledge it because, it's the same as when I create that wage scale that you guys sign. You guys initial it, acknowledging it, say his name,
Ralph McClellan, Officer Ralph,
has now,
He's-
reached the level
for
of
step three,
step 3.
beginning May 5th, 2018.
So he will be, moved from step 2 up to step 3 based on our personnel policy.
Okay. Do you need the spellings of the names?
Yes, please.
Okay, we have the Dunbarton Historical Awareness. They have a item they wanna put on Hot Topics. No problem with that. That is the official town committee.
What is it that, historical,
It's on there.
it's already on there? Okay.
It's more of a courtesy.
Oh, that's the interviewing that you guys
Interview with
approved
Dunbarton elders,
back,
talking about how
you've
they
already
go
approved that, so I've already
Right.
taken care
It's
of it.
just coming soon,
Yes, yes, yeah,
letting people know.
yeah, I already put that on there.
At this point, I believe we have 8 or 9 interviews to post.
8 or 9?
Yeah, and we're
Excellent.
doing another one tomorrow.
Glad to see they didn't call me as an elder yet.
We figured you probably don't remember much.
All right, if you recall, going on, if we had, if you all recall, we had the building tested for asbestos, and it tested positive for asbestos. Initial visual observation said no, however, when laboratory tested, it tested positive.
Okay,
So Bob was right.
Bob was right. And you're,
Fire test work, Bob.
you're vindicated, you're validated. I believe the building department's taking the lead on getting an RFP for proposal and for mitigation. And so there's a work in progress to correct that situation.
What building is that in again?
This one.
It's a water bubbler on the other end. What's that paper we had you sign off on?
Oh, that's right.
Is that the one in the Holmes magazine?
yeah, I've got mixed feelings with that, so I've gotta ask you about that.
I'm gonna let you bring it up.
So we are gonna contract them to have it removed.
Well, they're gonna come up with proposals, we're
They
gonna
have to
make
get
the
us
final.
price, yeah.
They're gonna get some prices first.
I mean, there aren't a whole lot of available contractors too.
Are they also giving us a price on just covering it or just removing it?
I don't know, we can ask, you write that note on there, cover and remove, question?
Cover versus removal.
I know that we talked about getting it out of the building and removing it, but if it becomes,
You know what, it's gonna be just as much labor covering it as removing it, cause they glove bag it, it's a small, real small area. It doesn't take, you're gonna sign
it
this.
doesn't take much, okay.
Okay, there's another item here on, for Hot Topics, about a
Yeah.
magazine article.
Yeah, the email was forwarded to me from Linda, there's a request from the garden club to put, a link on Hot Topics that, what does the email say again?
Daffodils.
That they have been recognized in Home
New
Magazine.
Hampshire Home
New Hampshire
Magazine.
Home Magazines for,
Multiple page articles,
May,
7 color
June.
photos, congratulations Dunbarton.
my only concern again is that they're an independent group, it's not town business related. So if we start promoting links on Hot Topics for other organizations, then where does it stop? And again, this is like the bulletin.
What is
board.
this, the garden club?
Yeah. It's not a town committee, it's not, town business.
No, but I do think it is kinda neat to have people be able to see that, you know,
But if you go through the other organizations, I think there's a link there that says Garden Club, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Can we put it there?
I'm not in the garden club.
Oh, you're
but-
not? Okay.
No.
I don't like to see it
That's why I
buried,
brought
it's
the
buried.
tablet, so I can go through the tree, but my battery's dead, so I have to.
I don't mind it there, I'd like to be able to, have it seen. What do you think?
I think he's raising his hand.
Can I make a comment?
You may.
I agree with you, but this weekend they're going to clean the town common. And they put some bark mulch and clean up and everything, so being a private organization,
In support of the town.
but they're doing stuff for the town, you know?
Yeah.
And it's
That would
kinda
be-
like a funky thing here, cause this
Yeah.
weekend they're going in town to clean it up and put bark mulch, and then but they can't use the town site.
Now, Leo, did we talked about this last year, they weren't providing bark mulch because they wanna do kind of every other year. Are we providing the bark mulch for
I'm
them?
not in the garden club, I don't
have to
know.
bring it up
I
tonight.
was gonna mention that anyways.
Okay,
I don't
we'll bring it
think I
up
might
later,
know.
okay.
So I see the dilemma here, they are doing good things for the town, to leave it up there for maybe 3 weeks, a couple weeks, that'd be fine. I have no problem with that.
Unfortunately, she's
And then
right.
That's why I
transfer it to
wanted
the,
to-
and then
Then
transfer it to the garden
to
club.
Yeah, because we have the tabs, the drop downs for other
Okay.
organizations, and the Garden Club does have a tab there, so that's definitely someplace that they should
Right, but
link it to.
I don't wanna bury it for the first week or two. Put it in
Maybe,
Hot Topics, then.
maybe you can thank them for the work here, and then put that on there, so it kinda like ties it
Okay.
together.
That'd be great.
That's not a bad idea, okay. But I
Because,
just wanted to check with the board first.
Yeah,
Because a
one-
lot of the other organizations don't do anything but them for themselves, which I'm not saying that's bad, but
Yeah.
my point is,
But they're doing it this Saturday?
they're coming in this Saturday to clean
So
up.
we can
This-
put-
They do it twice a year,
I
by the
haven't
way.
told you that yet.
Yeah. They do it twice a year,
No, but
you
I'm
know?
just,
She's waiting till her section when you ask her if there's anything new.
okay,
Okay, would you say 3 weeks?
we're gonna run it for 3 weeks.
And then ask them to link it to their tab within the.
Correct.
Kinda sounds fair.
It sounds like the right thing to do.
Yeah, like I said, you know, they're coming in this weekend of all the weekends besides.
Okay, just one item was taken off the agenda tonight. Remember, we had chief, the police was gonna come in and talk about ordinances. He asked for some more time, because his agenda's been a little bit busy,
I can understand that.
so I have no problem with that.
Yeah, gives me a break too.
I didn't sign this one. No, I didn't. Another one? You call everyone up in the afternoon, have them include these the last day?
Okay, I'm gonna defer it to next week, all the information on the transfer station, this is safety glasses and a few other issues we can, okay, I'm gonna open up for public comment.
Nothing?
Okay, I'm gonna bring it back to the board, I'm gonna go to Dave first.
I think we've reviewed everything, Lean and I haven't made it up to the transfer station yet to review those action items with Woody to go over, since he wasn't coming in tonight, I didn't stop by, so I will follow up with that next week
Okay,
and get those on the agenda. And the only other thing I wanted to say is, we made a moment of silence to one of our residents that passed away this week. In remembrance of that.
Okay, thank you. Bob, we'll take it to you.
The only thing I had was, it was a reminder for Lean. I had talked to Joe Marie today, so it has to do with the bark mulch, and I'll let her talk about it.
Okay. That's to me.
Oh, and one other thing, I did go to where the bridge was to see what's going on. Excavators there, you know, you got a dump truck there, you know. And that's, they've got a pump set up, but there's nobody working there right now. Water's pretty high though, even with the pump they have, I think.
I did think of one other thing before we hop onto the bark mulch. On this existing building, last year, we had scheduled for it to be stoned around the perimeter.
She's gonna talk about that too.
Oh, it's on- do you have everything on your agenda?
I gotta put it down, otherwise I
Alright,
forget
why
about it.
don't we just let you speak
All right,
first?
Lean, I'll let you go.
You really should let me
I
go,
know.
that might answer all your questions
The
before you
fourth
start. So,
selectman.
Dave? Alright. Just for the board's information, I've authorized the purchase of 10 yards of mulch for the town common. This is done every other year, last delivery was in 2016. The mulch would be spread out by volunteers at the garden club. The cost plus delivery is $390, which came in at the same rate as 2016. So I thought it was a no-brainer with the volunteers available, that I would order that. That's scheduled to be
You
delivered
authorize that
tomorrow,
out of your budget?
out of your budget. Follow up with the flag responsibilities. We reached out to Gary McCubbin, who handled the flag half-staff responsibilities in the past. He's suggesting that we get trained on how to lower the flag, because none of us know what to do with it. Joe Marie was under the assumption that it was a key, and I explained to him.
I'll
there's a-
nominate Mike Kaminsky for that.
And then he also asked, and Gary also recommended that we try to get the fire department to mark the the pole at the half-mast place, because what he found he had to do was he would step back with the rope, see if it was half, and then go back and then rig it. So if we mark the pole, it will be a lot easier for anyone who's doing it to be able to do it and just drop it right to that point and be done with it. Cause it can get pretty tough managing the rope, during windy conditions, other things.
I talked to the fire chief today, he's more than willing to do that. In fact, he put his volunteer fire department erected the original flagpole.
They did, yeah,
And he'll say he'd be more than happy to either take it down or use a ladder to make it happen.
good.
Okay.
Well, I don't know that we need to take it down, but I think with the
Well, he
help
thought
of
that
Gary.
he thought the, taking it down might be easier.
Oh, is it that
Take
easy to
the
take the
pole
pole
down?
down?
Yeah, it's only bolted
It's
in
a
there.
swivel, right?
No, I think it's just bolted in there. But whatever, the chief said he could do it, no
Yeah.
problem, either way.
I'll ask him, I'll
Yeah,
ask John to
Coordinate,
that with, Gary McCubbin.
yep, for the exact spot.
Okay, so we're all set on the mulch.
I'll second the
flag.
nomination for Mike Kaminsky on that. Bob, you want to second it?
Yeah, I'll second
If
that.
you recall, there's not much training.
Motion's been made and
Okay.
seconded, all pass unanimous.
I didn't even get a chance.
You have to abstain.
Yeah, you actually should have a vet lowering the flag anyhow.
That's a matter of
So-
opinion.
Well, that's my opinion, is you shouldn't be doing it. I'll let Dave
But
decide.
if you read the minutes from last week, Lee, what were the minutes from last week?
That it would be the office responsibilities, office staff responsibility.
Are you,
Was we're all-
I thought you were
We're
on.
all,
And-
we're all women, and one of us is probably 100 pounds soaking wet, and I can't imagine them out there.
And what was the last sentence following that?
You would be the fallback, but guess what? Every time we'll call and say, hey, you've got another notice.
Okay,
Doesn't live that far.
keep going.
Alright, so, this has been one of the nicer weeks that we've had in the last 4 months. And Mike Underwood was out here working in the common to clean up, the spring debris. And the road agent deposited loam in the area so that, and Mike typically will spread that out if he's provided with the material
Now, how is that getting paid for?
to the town.
You authorize that too?
The road agent did that time. But I agree with them. It was way overdue. Mike-
Was needed to.
Mike Underwood did offer to send the bill to the fire chief because he's the one that's plowing the common, and he said the problem exists over the fire department as well, but aside from that, Mike did say that it's on his schedule to, I reminded him about the stonework that need to be completed, he said it's on his schedule to do, now
That
that
is
the
on the
nice weather.
schedule.
Yep.
And did anybody have a chance to check to see if they cleaned up the leaves against the backside of the fire building?
Yeah. Were there any leaves there?
There was a pile there kind of left from last year, so
Okay,
I'd like to check
spring.
that this spring if we could, and
Clean up,
just make sure they're all cleaned out and relay it to Mike if they aren't.
okay, leaves.
Could use over the building.
And that was behind the
Fire
fire?
department.
Yeah, there, it was on the right side of the fire department, built up against the stairs and the air conditioning units, I think.
And the broken siding.
Yeah,
Okay, I will remind him, send him an email.
Anything else on your list?
Yeah, just a reminder that next week we have our road public
Yeah.
hearing, road project public hearing, scheduled for 7:15. It's been,
and one more question, Lean, did we get any proposals back on fire station repair?
no, but I did contact someone, he said he was in the middle of a very busy project, but he would be glad to give us a quote, so I'll send him a reminder as well.
Okay. That's all I have.
Anything else on your list?
You know,
Okay. I have, the only thing I wanted to, I think we're good. I think we're done for the night.
Okay.
I'm gonna pass out here, I think.
It is warm in here, I'll give it that.
It was cooler earlier, we had the air conditioning.
Okay, I'm waiting for a motion, gentlemen.
I'll make a motion to adjourn at 8:34.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.